Mother, really? Hey, what's up, y'all? Um, I got a lot of ancestors pulling on me. I got my ancestors. I got y'all ancestors. I just want to come with a free class, a free course, real fast. I went back and read on the community board what free courses y'all were interested in, and I said, what not a better time to start than today? That eclipse energy from last night. Let me just sage the place. I have exorcised the demon. What movie was that from? Um, a lot of y'all ancestors are getting ready to become a wake-up call in a lot of people's lives who have came up against you. There was a war last night, a final war in the heavenly realm that happened last night, before, during, and after the eclipse. I watched it with my own two eyes. And I do mean not just spiritual. I'm talking about with my own two eyes. I can see outside right now, and nature's talking. The spiritual world and the natural world has officially merged together. Wake up call. Reach for the stars. Some of y'all who are blocked are no longer blocked. Reflect on your own truth. It's time to be you authentically and passionately and become a clear channel. I'm here for some of y'all. Hey, baby. Can you open up this back door again, please? Um, for those of you who have been running from your gifts, you've also ridiculed other people for their gifts. You are now about to be exactly what you ridiculed. Ain't that about it, bitch? Ace Ventura is correct. I'm going to give a third eye oil away today during this live. I'm not going to tell you what I'm looking for. I'm just going to do it. A lot of people want to know how to set up their altar. This is the introduction to the course, starting at 5:44. I can't really tell you how to set up your ancestor altar because that's up to you and your connection with your ancestors. 2112 is the reflective angel number for today. What I can tell you is that in order for you to receive that kind of knowledge, you must have a basic 101 structure and knowledge that you can apply to creating the foundations for your relationship between you and your ancestors. That is strictly important. It's not about you modeling something after somebody else. This is about a direct relationship between you and those who have passed on. Okay. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry, y'all. It's hot. It's sticky. And outside. The first question that is asked is what is an ancestor? Who? Right? What is an ancestor? Who is an ancestor? Before we can set up an ancestor altar, we need to understand what or who an ancestor is. What is the embodiment? What is the energy of an ancestor? First and foremost, I want to say this, and I'm going to reiterate this through the course. Just because somebody that you love passes away does not necessarily make them an ancestor. What a true ancestor is, I'm going to break that down. There's three types of ancestors, three major type of ancestors. An ancestor, my humble, from the dictionary of Rafiki, is a person or people who have passed over, a relative that is deceased. This is just kind of like pulling off of other dictionaries, okay? I'm going to tell you what my real version of what I think an ancestor is. Oxford says a person, typically one or more remote than from a grandparent, from whom one is descended from. A synonym is forefather, predecessor, progenitor. Another definition, an early type of animal or plant from which others have evolved. Then there is this definition, which I found to be extremely interesting. An early version of a machine, system, etc. One of the synonyms for this particular definition is prototype. Ancestor comes from the Latin word antecedere, ante meaning before, and sedere meaning go. I may be saying that wrong, I don't care. So it's safe to say that an ancestor is someone who goes before you, right? Forerunner, someone who goes before you. This whole entire line is what you call a baton race. That's what all this is. When they say you are your ancestors, or we are our ancestors, it is you coming back as them in another form. The progenitor or prototype, which all of us may agree or not, is Adam or Eve, Adam and Eve, or Adam and Lilith and Eve. In my humble opinion, there are many Adams, there were many Eves. There was the beginning of Adam and Eve, the first two that were created, right? I'll get into that later. That's a whole different story. Any creation story, whether it's an Anunnaki, whether it's Christian, whether it's whatever other, what y'all doing over there? Which whether it's any other creation story, it's always going to end up with what you call so-called two people, or a group or conglomerate of people made from clay, made from dirt, made from dust, made from this, with whether they included or not, with DNA from another energy spliced in. Okay. Nevertheless, every creation story has what you call a prototype. Anything after that is the evolution of that prototype. I don't want to necessarily say an upgrade from the prototype, because that's not always necessarily true. Somebody's ancestry could have started out really great, really beautiful, and then kind of tanked down the line, right? Because of the decisions that continues to keep being made. Therefore, they always send what you call, and unfortunately, when you have darker energies, they call them scapegoats. Ones they feel like they can create to use as a martyr to wipe or cleanse the sins away from that bloodline. These sometimes are also known as what you call black sheeps. Okay, not all the time. Y'all following me? Example of what a prototype or progenitor or forefather, predecessor could be. For example, the first generation iPhone is the progenitor of your phone, your iPhone that you got now, right? It's supposed to be created from the prototype to be better than the prototype, because there's always upgrades happening. That's not always necessarily the case. Okay? What is ancestor veneration? This is where now, when you understand what an ancestor is, you have to understand veneration. What is veneration? Right? Ancestor veneration is the practice of revering and honoring bloodline relatives who have passed on before you. You are here in the land of the living. They have crossed over to the unseen realm. Veneration means showing one great respect. Ancestor veneration is rooted in the belief that once a relative departs from this three-dimensional world, they are given the power to watch over and or intervene over and in the lives of their loved ones who are still in this three-dimensional realm. Now, when I was digging to come to y'all with this information, I found that ancestor veneration first starts with the proper burial. That's interesting, right? If a person is not given a proper burial when they could be given a proper burial, you're already starting off wrong. This is why sometimes you have somebody in the lineage or in the family who becomes wealthy, and they dig up or they relocate the grave somewhere else, or when they're told to do this, that person sometimes is usually the person who is crowned blessings from that ancestor in whom they give a proper burial to. This is why in Egyptology it was extremely important to have a proper burial. So let me also clear this up. First and foremost, thank everybody for tuning in. Old subscribers, new subscribers. Please, if you are in the need of readings, services, or products, www.orderofthemystichealer.com. You know how some people say that the Egyptians were so materialistic, they buried themselves with possessions and all this other stuff, right? Y'all know how they try to make it seem as if they were so materialistic. That's not necessarily the case. I'll explain to you why they did that. We're gonna dead this shit today for once and for all. The same way you take ancestor money and believe that when you dedicate it to your ancestors that mean you will, you burn it, it translates to where they are to help them, is the same reason why they buried themselves with physical possessions. They believe that once they crossed over, passed through the bridge of Ma'at, got their heart weighed, had to go through the river of Styx, whatever they believe, paid their fare with the token, all this other stuff. Their possessions were also translated along with them into that realm. This is true. Whether you want to believe it or not. And y'all hold y'all. I don't want to tell y'all to really hold y'all questions. Well, y'all can answer. Y'all can ask the questions. Tim Pisces says, is it okay to dig up a body and relocate even after years after they are deceased? Especially if they didn't told you to, yeah. If they've told you to, yes. Some don't want to be disturbed. We also have to discern too. Sometimes that cemetery was not supposed to be the final resting place of that person. What do I mean? Some of us have ancestral land or ancestral cemeteries. Like, for example, here in the South, it is extremely popular that when you go to a cemetery, your grandma is over here, your uncle is over there, your daddy down there, your sister, your cousin, your brother, your your dog may be even there. It's a bunch of it's like a family cemetery, but that one is just popular for those specific people on that side of the family to be buried in. You know what I'm saying? So you do have that, like placements, settings of placements where they do want to be buried over there, especially when they're alive and they tell you, hey, bury me here, or they want their plot here. It's always good to honor what people say. Now, sometimes it is possible that they may pass over and visit you and say, hey, look, I didn't know that there was a particular energy in the cemetery that did not gel well with my soul. I'm gonna need you to move me. And in that, if that be the case, and God is in agreement with that, the higher ups are in agreement with that, you will even be blessed with the monetary value to be able to move that person with ease. If that be the case, you understand? So always just know that if they want to be moved, you got to tell them, okay, well, you need to shake this around so that I can move you. Okay? Righteous ancestors will not put you in debt to move them. Okay? Just know that. All right. My condolences to you, Sybil. That's another thing too, Erica. Here in the South, black people still be buried with black folks. White folks still buried with white folks. Now, the cemetery behind me where I live, they got different colors. Where my daughter is buried, there's different races. So you do have, that's few and far in between, but you do have them here in the South. So ancestor veneration first starts with a proper funeral and a proper burial. Okay? From the wake, actually, let me just say it like this. You want to make sure as well, too. And I know this is not something that we usually look into, but always kind of do the background checks of your funeral parlors, your funeral homes. Okay? Not all funeral homes are created equal. Some funeral homes are in cahoots with doing certain things to the body. Okay? You want to make sure that they have a proper preparation with the body. You want to make sure they have a proper preparation of the body. Okay? Also, you want to be able to sit down and ask them, what do you believe? Is there any way that I can prepare a specific type of wash, a frankincense and myrrh wash that you can kind of rub the body down with? Also, for some of you who you find yourself as what you call a death doula, I am a death doula. Um, Fuck it, I'm gonna tell you. I am that person in my family on both sides. That if I'm not fucking with you and I don't hang with you while you living, if I'm told by the spiritual realm to go and visit you and you see me, especially if you sick or you, a lot of the times I'm the person you see before your ass leave up out of here. You get my drift? I'm the one who sees death coming. I'm the one that can see death on you. I ain't asked for it. That's just something I got. Whatever. Um, it just is what it is. Some of you have that same gift or that same calling. I don't know if I could call it, I can call it a gift, but it is definitely a calling. You can't run from something like that, being a death doula. A death doula also is someone who may be called to prep the body in some kind of way. There may be a specific prayer that you may be called to say over the body of the person who's passed. Like, for example, you may be in the hospital room and that person is deceased and the hospital is telling you come say your goodbyes, that kind of thing. Or you may be the one who may have to say a quick prayer over the body before they close the casket. God may have you move in a discreet way during the funeral, making sure that that person is ushered over correctly. You may be the one who is called to do the hair and or the makeup. That you want to make sure that you clean yourself, if nothing else, with a salt water bath before and after. You want to do a deep aura cleansing after, when you are called in to do the makeup and or dressing of any loved one, whether you are the direct descendant, whether you're the daughter or the son or the aunt or the uncle, whatever. It's the reason why you're being chosen to do those things. So this is how ancestor veneration begins. It starts upon the last breath of that person. Right before you can prep, call the ancestors forth to usher that person over into peace, that kind of thing. Let them know that they're forgiven of their sins, especially if you have something against them that they needed to be forgiven of. You can, start the letting go of process, that kind of thing, whatever. Then it goes into death, then funeral preparations, then wake, then funeral, okay? Then wag fest. A wag fest is something that is ancient to the Egyptians. That is what you call a party, the celebration of life of that person. Down here in the South, we call it second lining, where we are playing music, we're dancing. You can also do this at a repast. Y'all know my melanated people, my black folks. Y'all know how we do. Repast. They are passing back to something, the source. Repassing or coming back around. Something is full circle, right? That person's life is now full circle. Back to the source. Back to the source. Sorry about that. Second lines or wag fest is supposed to be that party that sends that ancestor off, that person off in good hopes, whether they have to reincarnate or not. After the wag fest, the second line, the repass, it is the individual's job to continue veneration with that deceased loved one in order to create what I like to call a new relationship with them. Now, this is where it gets tricky. Because in order for you to understand how to set your ancestor altar up, you now have to start to categorize that loved one. First and foremost, you must seek wise counsel, spiritual wise counsel, to even see if that person has even been elevated or graduated to become an ancestor. This is why I'm telling you, because not all loved ones become ancestors. Some people go right through the reincarnation process all over again. Some people sleep, some people become earthbound. That's a whole nother different story. Not all loved ones become ancestors. Not all hot relatives are denied becoming ancestors. Why am I using the word or the term hot relative? A hot relative, and I'll explain to you what a hot relative is later on, because that's one of the 3 types of ancestors. A full-on ancestor is called the spirit guide. That's why not all of your loved ones become ancestors. Okay? I hate to say this, just because they're your mom or your dad does not necessarily make them an ancestor when they pass. Some of these people go through judgment, and then, depending on if this was their last go around and how they was made or created, how they lived their life, they may have to come back and do something, in another body, that kind of thing. Not everybody is upgraded to an ancestor just because you love them. That's unfortunate, but that's the truth. Okay? 3 types of ancestors. Let me see what y'all saying. You said, what do you sew inside of a coffin? Sybil, that's something that's a belief system in a certain culture. Not everybody believes that. And you can sew whatever you want inside the lining of a coffin. That's something to carry them on. Or you can write something that's a secret, and they can take it to the grave and guard that specific thing. So yeah. You said you want to be one, Sybil. A death doula is not an easy word. So this is what I'm gonna say. Oh, Lord, y'all please be patient with me. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Sometimes I get a little frustrated with y'all. I'm gonna tell you why. For some of y'all who always want to jump at the first chance to become something you don't fully understand, be very careful. You understand? Be extremely careful. You don't know what the fuck you asking to carry. Being a death doula is not easy. In ancient times, being a death doula was almost the equivalency to carrying a veil, a cursed veil. That ain't something you want to pray for. You understand? That ain't something, just because you see somebody carrying that ain't something you want to just be mindful. We all we all called to carry whatever different mantles and different type of works. A death doula is not something like a birth doula. You understand? And even that comes with pros and cons. A birth doula, that's beautiful, but if somebody is solely banking on you for the safe delivery of the child while they have one foot in the grave and one foot in the world, and something go wrong, that person's life can be hanging right there in the balance of your hands. So birth doulas and death doulas is nothing to play with. It's not something you just want to ask for God out of thing. I hope sometimes, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I'm pretty prayer. I want for 1 month to God to give y'all some of this shit y'all be looking to handle. I want God to give y'all the full-on shit, full-on burden, so y'all can stop fucking asking for shit all the time. I want y'all to feel it. Yes, Lord. I want you to feel it now. If you can handle it, and it's for you, welcome. Because you're going to be highly misunderstood, highly looked over, treated like shit. Because a lot of people are going to call you weirdo and all this other stuff. And if you can't handle that, if you the person who always want to walk in the party and be accepted by the many, you ain't going to be able to carry this gift. Not like that. But if you bought that life and you already don't give a fuck, welcome. Next. I'm just being real. I'm gonna just be real. And then look, this is not to make y'all feel less than. I'm just letting y'all know. Because some people They get starstruck on what they see on other people and want that because that person got it. That's all I'm saying. Just be careful and be mindful. That person was anointed to carry that in a specific. You don't know what that person went through to carry that. You understand? Especially in many lifetimes to be able to carry that kind of thing. Lord, my ancestors up in this mud. Okay. 3 types of ancestors. 3 major. You have sub branches, and then you have these 3 main branches of the tree. Spirit guides, which is the highest one, in my humble opinion. The highest order of ancestor is the spirit guides. This is the type of ancestor that speaks to you, communicates with you, guides you, and guards you. This ancestor has the ability to forewarn you and summon other protectors in the spiritual realm on your behalf. They also have the ability to kind of sort of, I don't want to use the word manipulate, but bend the road in your journey to be able to cross somebody else in the path that will act as an ogun or protector in that life temporarily or however. They are very powerful, and they are like what you call a little god. This is not for the weak once they pass over. This is something that they have worked hard for while they were here. Some of them did not even know they was being prepped to take the role of that spirit guide when they crossed over. This is almost somewhat of a reward because they get to inherit what you call an eternal life. These are the ancestors who mean you well to your highest good, known and unknown. That's why it's extremely important that when you connecting with your ancestors, you connect with the ones that mean you to your highest good, known and unknown. Because not all ancestors, people who cross over, mean you well. This ancestor can be endowed with the power to turn the wheel of events in your favor if they so choose. I call these ancestors full-on ancestors because these can travel between worlds. I believe they also have the ability to knock on the gates of heaven, especially if they're not ready to come in. I do believe that very few of them can gain access to the throne room of heaven to pray on your behalf at the feet of God. I'm hearing old church mothers. These are also old forefathers whose heart was, I'm hearing, sweet enough, broken and contrite spirit, who knew God when they walked the earth. 33 on the clock. Number 2, the second type of ancestor is what you call a watcher or watchers. They report activity to higher ups. They keep and locate records to help evolve the bloodline. These ancestors usually are the ones who didn't complete their work or make something right while they were living, so they are given the chance to do so in exchange for possible evolution of their own soul. This is unfortunately, a lot, not all, but a lot of the times, unfortunately, these can be the ones that were closest to you, like relatives that were closest to you before they passed, that was supposed to make something right with you. Like, let's say that's you was right with y'all, been hanging all your life, and then something happened where y'all fell out, and then they end up passing, you never made it right. They were always the ones that God was pulling or tugging on and say, make it right before you go. You know you're getting ready to leave. You know you're getting ready to leave. 3443 on the clock, or 3443 as a reflective angel number for somebody. So that's 77, master number 77. 5, which is the womb of God. Chaos. Somebody's here. I smell rain, so this is a water energy. Some of your ancestors are asking for you to become a clear channel that they can come through and speak through. Um, these are watchers. They're given the chance to do right in their realm so that they can evolve. Either reincarnate to get it right, 35 on the clock, or evolve to a higher realm so they can go on to the next planet. Depending on, again, their level of evolution, they get to either ascend and go to the next planet, or they have to sometimes some of these watchers sometimes can walk between worlds, like being earthbound and ancestral bound. Again, these are the ones a lot of times you were close to in the unit, falling out with, and they got to make shit right. The third kind of ancestor, mind you, this was channeled. This is not something that you can look up on a blog. This is channeled information. So if you see it on the blog, you're going to see it on the blog after today. This ain't some shit that I didn't Googled. This is channeled information. For those of you who may be questioning some shit, this is channeled information. Number 3, goon. These are what you call low level or low vibrational energies. They don't always have to necessarily be low level or low vibrational. These can be what I call hot relatives who pays their sole purpose in the ancestral realm is to pay retribution on the head of your enemies. Sometimes they are earthbound. This is who enacts poltergeist activity on your behalf. These hot relatives or hot ancestors can also create accidents for your enemies. They can create different other things in the physical 3D realm on your behalf, because these watchers and spirit guides give them permission or reports to them and say, hey, look, this is what you need to do on behalf of such and such, because such and such keep fucking with such and such and they won't stop. These are the ones that are given permission to act, and I'm going to be real with you, they act as almost like demons on your behalf. I don't want to call them that, but because they bring such of a trickster, hot petrol spirit energy, they do operate in the petrol realm. A lot of the times, these goon ancestors, a lot of the times, most of the time, these are relatives that you didn't even get along with while they were here. So they turn into what you call the angered centaurian on your behalf, the bull-headed beast with a human body, and all they do is wreak havoc on your behalf. This is how they kind of atone for how they treated you while they walked the earth. This is how they're able to atone. This is also in the soul contract of that person as a just in case or an IOU they be fucking up while they walking on the earth. Am I making sense to some of y'all? Nene, we not talking about no number 33 right now. We talking about ancestors, beloved. We want to stick to what we talking about. I love y'all, but I'm not about to get off track. Yes, Erica. It is something, a death doula is something to carry. Let me just say that. It ain't no walk in the park. Hot relatives or hot ancestors, right? They're the ones who, a lot of the times, not all the time, but a lot of times they fucked you over while they was walking the earth. They treated you like shit. And let me just say this for some of y'all who y'all may not like my mouth, my français. Whether y'all call it potty or not, I really don't give a shit. This is me. This is who I am. I love God. I'ma always love God. But the way that I speak is not a reflection of my relationship with God. I want some of y'all to stop being so goddamn judgmental. Because a lot of y'all niggas is busting it wide open, or like what Miss Evelyn said, laying it low and spreading it wide to a lot of people who ain't y'all husband or y'all wives, and y'all over here judging me. Y'all don't think I heard y'all last time in the spirit, but I'm addressing you now. I'm address you now so you can get it right and check yourself. For you get wrecked the fuck up. Stop being so damn judgmental. You understand? I'ma talk any kind of way how it beset me. I mean, how it how it serves me, not beset you, but serves me. If you don't like it, go find somebody else to watch. I may not be clean cut and pristine like how you think you should be. Go watch that person. I'm a little country, maybe a little hood for some of y'all. I don't care. I love who I am. I love who I'm becoming. And though my bloodline and my background may call for some of my other relatives to be classy and pristine, I get to do whatever the fuck I want. And the only reason why I'm not disrespectful is because I love God and I don't abuse my privileges. But I am going to be who I am. So if you don't like it, my dear beloveds, exit stage the fuck left. God bless you on the way out. I'm going to pull. Let me do a little earth magic before I leave here. This is part 1. I wanted y'all to understand the definition of ancestors, what the veneration of ancestors is and what it looks like, the origins of it. Not so much the origins of it, but I'm sorry for this in the background, but I got some slight y'all activity with the wind outside, because there's some evolutionary changes that are coming through here that are happening. Holy Spirit is getting ready to bring us a lot of radiance. A lot of us is getting ready to, or we already have been upgraded in the spirit. And I always ask God that if I really am truly am not a reflection of you, God, please forgive me. Because that's what I strive to do every day when I wake up. Before I get up out of my bed, I think about God. I think about God. When I'm going to sleep, I'm thinking about God. I'm every day thinking about different ways on, do I please God? Is my walk pleasing God? Am I making God smile? Am I making God happy? Do I put a smile on God's face? Damn, I don't know why I'm getting emotional. Ancestors is here. Your tree. They're telling you to look into your family tree. Look into your family tree. This picture is also the picture that is used for the box. This is the picture, not used for the box, but used for the back of the cards. So this is an important theme. You must know the roots of your tree. God is also leading some of y'all to do some spiritual ancestry background work, to look into your spiritual ancestry. Some of you spiritual ancestry lineages and bloodlines is a little bit more important even than your actual bloodline. What's at your feet? Earth energy, grounding energy, nurturing energy. God is talking about the 3-dimensional realm. So the spiritual and the physical has merged. What's crowning you that you cannot see but is highly important to release? I'm hearing negative energies, worries, stress. Clarify this grounding card, this ancestor, this DNA. I'm hearing karmic pasts. I'm sorry. Forgive me, God. That just really bothers me. You got the audacity to come here and be worried about the cuss words I'm saying when you got a fucked up, funky ass life. Better get the fuck on. Waterfall. Effortless. You're getting ready to be put in a position to become a clear channel. I'm hearing your clairvoyancy is getting ready to increase. Some of you who have not been operating in clairvoyant energy is getting ready to, and it's going to be extremely effortless. Some of your ancestors that you're getting ready to venerate, I heard, and or worship and show reverence to, they're getting ready to bless you with gifts that they've been holding on to see who was worthy in the bloodline to carry it. This I see is either going to be twice to 10 times more intense than it was on them. It's almost as if like they're giving you a rite of passage. I see the ash or the paint being put on some of your foreheads. Some of you all need to also repent for asking God to take your sight away. Some of you asked for this sight to be taken away because you are afraid of what your family members, friends, and or love interests may say. Some of y'all need to repent so it can stop being dormant. Because I'm hearing for some of you, God didn't take it away. It's just lying dormant. It's always been there. The orb that you see out the corner of your eye, that thing that passes through, or when you at that stoplight and you usually go straight to go home, but the Holy Spirit tell you no, make a right or make a left. That is that gift. But God is only, I'm hearing, only kind of made that gift go so far with you to keep you from being scared or jumping out of your skin. But God's saying, I will restore the years that the cankerworm, the locust, and the palmer worm has eaten up for you. Some of you have allowed fears and judgments and fear of judgment to keep y'all from operating in your gifts. God is saying, just repent. Even me, I repent. And I ask God to bring back any energies, any gifts, any hidden talents, anything that's lying dormant within me that I may have cause to go to sleep out of fear and fear of judgment. Forgive me. And that's not reversible. Some people will make you feel bad that you got that gift because you smell their bullshit. You heard me? That's just how it is. Some of these family members, they can't even look you in your face for more than 5 seconds because they know that if you keep staring and you look them in their eyes, you can see them. You understand? They want to keep you ignorant. My God. Some of y'all ancestors are saying now, today is the day. Some of y'all ancestors I see just really want y'all to go in nature and call upon them. This eclipse is bringing up a lot of things to the surface. Some of us are holding anger and rage because some of our parents really didn't do what they were supposed to do. And some of y'all parents are still living. Some of these parents ain't even passed over yet. God is saying, get in nature and cry it out. Release it. For some of you whose parents has passed on, they are weeping. They're weeping and asking for your forgiveness. Sorry. What's crowning us at this time? New beginnings. Engulf yourself with peace and joy so you won't have to come back to this fucking prison and repeat this life. I encourage y'all to get in nature. Let the wind activate y'all. Let the trees speak to y'all. Some of y'all are on a desert quest, a vision quest. I heard it's going to feel like you're in a famine, but you're not. Let me say this before I go. This eclipse brought up a lot of me all my life. I was the child that was thrown away. I was the child that was made fun of. I was the child that received spell work done. People have done spell work on me since I was a child. I was the one that was always overlooked. Always, always, always. Out of all my grandmother's grandchildren, I was the one that was always overlooked. My grandmother had 16 kids. 16 children my grandmother birthed. 16 children. When my step-grandfather passed away in the 90s, on his obituary, it said that he had about 90 plus grandkids. This was in the 90s. I'm not sure if that was true. There was a lot of humping and stuff going on. Of course, I got a lot of uncles that may have children elsewhere outside of whatever. But I do know that I have a lot of cousins. I have a lot of cousins. We are scattered across the Americas. That's just on my mother's side. I'm still getting to know and discovering my father's side of the family. I ran across a family member last night that I never met. And I also ran across a what I call a goon cousin on my mother's side. I haven't seen her in years. Some people who are just called in this life to be goons, like real goons. She one of them, real rough. Anyway, it's been taking me some time to realize the hurt, how much hurt is embedded in me, even from my own parents. The disappointment that often when you get older turns into anger and rage. Y'all, I'm not playing when I say to y'all, y'all remember when before I started showing my face, I used to tell y'all I got a Tupac spirit. The reason why I used to say that a lot is because I was highly rebellious when I was young, because I was highly misunderstood. I also people used to try to put me in a bird cage a lot. And so what I did was purposely, when I was younger, especially in middle school to high school, I knew that in order for me I either had to rebel and get my freedom or sacrifice my freedom and fit in, but abase myself and obey, especially to things and people that was not fitting for me, my life and my journey. I chose to rebel. In turn, I got my freedom, but I was alone. The difference now between then and now is I'm comfortable with being alone. However, I'm still healing from disappointments and hurts. This eclipse is also brought up in me rage and anger from abandonment and rejection. I hope that I am an inspiration to somebody who's watching this. You've been lying to yourself since you were a child. You have been stuffing how you feel deep down inside yourself. You've been stuffing it. You've been lying to yourself, saying it's not there. You're over it. You've healed. And you have not. That inner child is still yet needing to be healed. Allow it to come up. Allow it to come out. Be vulnerable, because you healing right now is going to pave the way for beautiful things later. Do the healing now so that later you can reap the highest benefits off of this. As you heal, you become less prone to bullshit. You become more heightened in your spirit, in your spiritual gifts. Your sight, your intuition becomes heightened. You become more enlightened and lightened up in your spirit, in your joy, your peace, and your happiness is easier to obtain. Can't just anybody walk up in your life and fool you. It's hard because you are vulnerable, especially if you like me and you're not used to being vulnerable. Especially if the streets had to raise you like me. Especially if you had, I'm telling you, I did not grow up with a silver spoon. Who I am in the spirit is different for who I am how I grew up in this three-dimensional realm. I had to get my shit up out the mud. You feel me? And I'm still having to get my shit up out the mud. But I'm being aligned because I'm doing the work. So yes, a lot of people are going to see you down the line and they're going to be jealous. They're going to be angry and envious. But like the old people say, you see the glory, but you don't know the story. That is the true saying. You can be envious all you want, but baby, I've done the work. And I am doing the work. Why? Because I want to be the best version of me. And I don't know about y'all. I'm going to say this. I'm going to let y'all go. I want to live a life poured out. I don't want to get before my creator on full. I want to be empty. So that I know that I did all that I can. Because this is my last go round. I'm on to the next planet after this. I'm going to be coming back soon with part 2. Y'all, please, 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 please allow yourself to heal at this time. Especially last night under the Scorpio moon energy. God is allowing for things to come up to the surface. Things that you're getting ready to see within this next week is going to hurt you. Because you about to see the people who went and got spell work on you may be the person who went half on your ass. Which means the mammy or the daddy. Some of y'all siblings then went and got work on y'all and it didn't work. Some of y'all got best friends who really is y'all foes. They buy y'all just to see what your next move is. God is getting ready to show the 7th house hidden enemies. They about to be open. They about to be moved from the 7th house to the other house where you have the open enemies. They about to be shown 55, 55. This is getting ready to be a change. It's going to be painful, but it's necessary because you're getting ready to be in the stars. You're not about to reach for them no more. You about to be a star. I don't know about y'all, but I already am. I love y'all. Until next time, be safe. Much prosperity. And if nothing else, much love from me. I love you.